Hi, so this is a little message. Um, this was actually inspired by my sister Victoria. Thank you, Victoria, for this. So, this is about finding your purpose. A little while ago, I went on a exploration trip to Scotland. A few people might know the story. With a skin called Bravehearts. Really, really inspiring time for me. Changed my life completely. Anyway, I digress. The trip itself, it took people out into the wilderness and helped them to really learn about living off the land and the reality of life outside of this, well, for lack of better words, matrix system, cities that we're living in, and how our everyday thoughts and needs are really compromised by commercialism, things that we don't need and stuff. So it really took us back to the roots of like looking into what we needed as opposed to these things that we want every day. We just want them so much. Anyway, this man, his name was John, and he led the trip. In fact, he was the one who ran the organization. He told us a story at the end of the trip. And he said that he used to be a police officer, and during his time in the police force, well, he was really keen on helping young people, but that was he'd locked up many youths, in particular young black males, yeah, over his time, and I think he worked his way up to be like somewhere at the top. I can't remember exactly what position he held, but it was a pretty high position. So after many years, as soon as he got a chance to retire, he decided, yeah, that was it. He'd retire. He no longer needed his job and his profession to get money and stuff. He felt that he really had done all that he could do there, and anything else that he was doing there was kind of counterproductive because rather than helping these males, the same males were just going in and coming out and going in and coming out, and this so-called punishment of locking them up was not helping them at all, which was very disheartening for him. So he retired and he went home and he went to his computer. And at his computer, he started like looking around and he started discovering some stuff like trips that would say, come and climb this mountain or come and sail across this ocean or come and do this marathon through the Sahara Desert. And each time he would click on it and he would say, oh, that sounds interesting. I think I'll do that. And he discovered like a new like lease of life for himself that he now was like venturing and finding things out about the world and discovering these new things and pushing himself to the limits of his potential will just be like it became something that really like opened up his heart and made him see things better. And he said to himself, do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and get some of these youths that I used to lock up and I'm gonna take them on some of these adventures. And I'm gonna hope to build their self-esteem, their confidence, and show them a way of life that they cannot get access to because obviously like he was in a position where he could go and get his card and just make the payment and just go. So he was in a position of privilege that he was able to do that. So he decided to help young people to do that. And he did. And out of that first trip came a group of members of there from rival gangs that all joined in together to create their own organization to which they go into now into communities and they go and speak to young people and tell them about their experiences and tell them a bit about John and his organization and tell them a bit about what that thing, not just the man, but the experience of what that thing done for them so that they can kind of see a little bit of a life outside of the life that they're living, which is very difficult to see when you're in that box. So yeah, that became very inspiring. And out of this, he discovered, well, it was kind of like it's like a triangle way of discovering your purpose. What makes you the most angry? For him, it was not being able to help these young boys, seeing them going round and round, and girls, seeing them going round and round in these circles, hurting one another, and being frustrated that anything that they had in position just didn't do them any justice and didn't help them at all to become any better. And the next one is, what's your passion? What do you love doing most? For him, he found out after years, after only into retirement, that it was exploring the world and discovering new things. And then you put these two things together. So to find your purpose now, we use John's method. Thank you, John. What do you what do you hate most, and what do you love most? When you put those things together, and within between, you find your purpose. It's really simple. Dark and light creates oneness. So I hope that helps you. Love to you all. Love lights always. Thanks for listening. I'm Manas.